And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an early start here in Newark Showground.
It is indeed, and we are looking at track one this morning as we have got Wirral taking on Manchester.
Indeed.
Absolutely, I'm Roller Pulliver, and to the left of me seated
Is Go-Go Boots.
Is it working? So we are just waiting for life to become alive here onto track one. Of course, Manchester took down Cornwall yesterday. Wirral taking down Hertfordshire. So they get nice early starts for us all.
They win and they get an early start.
They win. I understand the likes of Rusty Bullet, who was about to jam for Manchester, was up at 3:40 a.m., a precise minute.
3:40 a.m.
3:40 a.m.
That is so precise.
It is, it is. I'm not stalking.
Not at all. Oh, no. No.
And lining up against Rusty Bullet, we've got Staple Sinner. And away we dance into this first jam, into this semi-final. And Rusty Bullet breaking out within 6 seconds of his first jam starting. Had a little bit of a difficult day in the first game. The floor she was still getting used to the floor here, but flying out and looks like to be picking up points in the first pass. 4 points picked up by Rusty Bullet.
That was certainly a quick first jam.
Absolutely. We've, of course, this is the chance to progress to the final, which will be played later on today here on track one. And looking to pick up some more points for Manchester, we've got Roxy Toxing on the jam line. And she's coming up against 764, I believe that's Tids.
That is Tids. Roxy using her teammates there as a battering ram, but Tibbs is out and is lead for Wirral.
Really taking not much time at all to break out lead as we're seeing the action coming out of turn two. Roxy Toxin looks like to have been clipped off track, and now will take a big recycle, as will Tids. Getting recycled by Nippy Hedron, the pivot for Manchester.
Manchester is doing some lovely three-walling at the front there.
Great work from Mini Minx, just holding up the Will Jammin' Tids picks up a cut track. Great work from Mini Minx.
So that will be a power jam from Roxy.
Oh, but Roxy Toxin picks up a cut track herself. So we'll have a jammer changeover in the box.
A little switcheroo. First one of the day, probably not the last.
Absolutely not. What we saw yesterday, we saw a lot of jammer penalties. I think the floor has been a massive factor this weekend already. A lot of teams weren't realizing just how slippy this floor is. And Wirral coming out, picking up the 5 points.
So this will be a full 2-minute jam, as both jammers descended onto the penalty box.
Lovely, lovely stuff.
I got a word-a-day calendar this year, so I'm trying to make sure that I utilize as many words in my vocabulary as possible.
I'll get you a Yorkshire one. It's just one word a day. It's just usually A up.
A up.
A
Oh,
up.
okay.
And Appen. So Roxy Toxing out the penalty box, out of the pack, looking for points. Tids picking up the 4 points coming through on the next pass. 2 points picked up by Roxy Toxing. We're looking at a 9-6 game. 3 points in favor of Wirral. Only 3 minutes of game time on the board.
And we have Bambi up to jam for Manchester. That is 0-4 against number 4.
Hell J. Looking at Hell J.
4v4.
4v4.
4 on 4.
All the fours on the track. Welcome. And number 4, Bambi, breaks out and is your lead jammer. LJ just coming up against Price and Feral Fairy, breaks out, starts looking for points. Bambi coming through, picks up the 4 points. Bambi was very, very successful yesterday for Manchester. When Cornwall started to rein in Manchester's lead, Bambi went out and picked up a couple of 19-point passes. Really brought Manchester away
really
from Cornwall.
Really effective jammer.
Massively, massively. Now we're looking at number 8-9 for Wirral. That's a Wrecking Ball.
And 4-1-4. That is Rusty Bullet back up to jam for Manchester.
Rusty Bullet sponsored by Gordon's. So there you go.
Manchester's defense really, really holding on to Wirral's jammer there.
It's always when you've got the brace at the front, and it's Witchy who's bracing at the front. Now you got Mini Minx. They do seem to have a nice turnaround of blockers who can do a job. Big hit from Mini Minx, flooring Wrecking Balls twice over. The Wrecking Ball is back up and at the wall of Manchester. But that Mini Minx being able to come right from the back and close down Wrecking Ball, it gave Rusty Bullet enough time to break out and pick up lead just when they thought Wirral were coming out.
It took a whole, almost full lap of the track before getting lead. I think we're going to see a lot of that today in this game and future games. Some really strong defense proving very difficult for those jammers. I'm not envious of them at all.
Of course. A skater yourself? Go. So
I am a skater myself. I don't like to wear the star, as my teammates will attest to. I tend to be very sad when a star is handed to me, and I'm quite sweaty on track as I nervously attempt to get round. But neither of these jammers are looking nervous or sweaty just yet.
Not yet. It's very early yet. The sun is yet to bask onto this track. It is, as we said, a very early start, but they are already out and about looking for these points. MRD are coming out the stronger in this first period. I mean, something like coming into this game, both teams played very early on yesterday. As Rusty Bullet there, just coming in for the call-up. As a skater yourself, Gogo, what goes through your mind if you know you've played first thing and then you're playing again first thing in the morning? Are you looking at mental prep and physical prep, or are you just looking just to break everything down and just relax?
I think probably a mix of both. Like, you definitely want to be getting the mental prep, but the evening before probably a little bit of relax, hydration, good food, and not stressing about the alarm clock too much.
Absolutely.
And I think both teams having their warm-up, getting some music on, having that kind of group bonding thing has certainly been working in their favour the entire weekend and for this game.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely bang on. I think, as we see it now, Roxy Toxin and number 4-7 for Wirral, they've both finally through. No lead has been assessed as yet, but you're right. Wirral especially have been a very tight team for these last couple of years. The likes of Tallulah Trouble have been a mainstay of that team. They're doing some great things. We're just seeing Feral Fairy now on the way to the penalty box, but Roxy Toxin breaks out, picks up your lead jammer. Nearly taking all of 40 seconds to pick that up. So both walls are proving very tough this morning.
A relatively easy pass there for Roxy.
Oh, and a great pass from number 4-7. That's Staple Gunner coming around, picking up the 4 points. Great 1 foot on the toe stop and out the pack. Roxy Toxin bouncing through, picking up the 4 points.
I think Roxy may be being told by her bench to just run the jam.
That's Kazook, the bench for Manchester, wearing the half-price suit from Marks and Spencer's.
Were you there shopping with him when knowing that was half price?
We bumped paths. We might run into each other. He might have got the better suit. It's not for me to say. How dare
Well, you are looking marvellous in the suit this morning.
Well,
I feel I've offended my co-announcer.
I usually shop at charity shops, to be fair. I love them. Anyway, back on track. We've got Bambi for Manchester, and that's Tits.
Yep.
For Wirral. Oh, great work from Bambi. Getting down and low, coming out of turn 2. Evading the last-ditch hit of the pivot, and Bambi is out, as is Tits. Being closed down by Mini Minx, but just doesn't rein her in.
Wirral have been doing some lovely offense for their jammers. I think starting on a defensive kind of pattern, and if Manchester is getting out first, they're making sure that they've got a strong player or two doing offense to help break up those walls and get their jammers through.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely spot on. I think you're seeing this. Every jam, it isn't taking too long for the other jammers to break out, and we're now looking at a 36-17 lead. That's 19 points in favour of Manchester. 10 minutes gone on the clock. So it's quite a low-scoring start. Rusty Bullet up jamming for Manchester. Looking at the inside, but getting taken off. That's Hell J. Still trying to break out. Rusty Bullet is out, but not lead. No pass, no lead. And Hell J saw the lead. Picking up the lead, shuts it down. Was it in time?
I think may have picked up a couple of points there. There's a little bit of referee discussion at the moment.
Yeah, just to the left of your screen, we've got Rafael Gould, Sparksby Fly, and Belinda just having a quick chat. 2 points picked up by Manchester, as shown there by Belinda. So 38-17, a 21-point game. Remember, kids, maths is fun.
Maths is fun.
It is. It's what makes me come alive in the morning. It's the old abacus. Slinking the old abacus across the abacus.
Sometimes I use my brain for smart making. I have to do some maths in my job. I don't use an abacus, but I do have a calculator, which is like an abacus, but slightly more updated, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think maths is very, very relevant in the world of the old wheelie smack and the roller derby. As we're seeing it now, we're seeing Wrecking Ball and Roxy Toxin coming into turn 3. And you're absolutely right, Gogo, as you said earlier. We're seeing full lengths of the track before any lead is assessed. And now Manchester with just the 2 blockers on track. That's Lightning Hole and Nippy Hedron. Big offense coming in from number 3, but...
Yeah, I think that was a back block assessed for number 3, and she came right into the back of the other person, funnily enough, being assessed a back block.
Steph Leopard slowing down Roxy Toxin. Only 1 blocker on track for Lightning Hole, but Lightning Hole did hold up Wrecking Ball for as long as possible. And you're now seeing Wrecking Ball picking up the lead. Only 3 blockers on track at this time. So a bit of a change, shift from yesterday. A lot more penalties being dished out for both teams. You could maybe put it down to an early start, maybe. If you're getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to come down here, you are going to feel tired. You are. There's no... I know adrenaline's there, I know it gets, but you're still tired.
And we have Staple Gunner up to jam against Bambi.
So 41 plays 21, 17 minutes left to play in this first period. You're seeing Feral Fairy, Price, and Pinky Fingers just slowing down Staple Gunner. Bambi coming up against a very effective free wall of Wirral, but Bambi hits the afterburners but gets clipped off on the inside. Staple Gunner going to blocking mode.
Yeah, both teams are very physical and very strong at holding those jammers in. I think there has been a cut track assessed to Manchester's jammer, so we will have a power jam in favour of Wirral, which is what they really need at the moment.
Absolutely. I think what they don't need right now is you've got the 4 blockers of Manchester all out and about, looking to slow down Staple Gunner. Staple Gunner breaks out and picks up lead, and Feral Fairy picks up a forearms penalty. We're also seeing number 138. That's a love lock going to the penalty box. Staple Gunner getting clipped off and taken back by Price.
They've got a full contingency of blockers on the track for Wirral at the moment, hopefully being able to hold Bambi down.
It's as slow as you like out there, and again we are just seeing both packs going all the way around the track. Pinky Fingers picking up an out of play block, and great penalty kill by Manchester. Only really 5 points lost, but Bambi's still going to break through a very tough wall of Wirral.
And a number of bodies hitting the floor. There are a number of whistles going off.
And it looks like Staple Gunner is going into the penalty box on a back block penalty.
And we're starting with 2 blockers for Manchester and a blocker and a jammer for Wirral in the box. This will be a power start for Manchester's Rusty Bullet.
Quite a few penalties dished out in this opening period.
Hopefully they can lock that down for the remainder of this period and into the second half. Otherwise we're going to find a team that is, or both teams possibly, down on roster and probably getting more tired. I think both teams have come with a nice plethora of blockers and jammers, but I did notice in one of the games yesterday with Swansea and Dundee, them having, I think it was 10 and 12 players respectively. You know, when penalties start being assessed and people start getting tired and having to be on maybe 1 or 2 jams in a row, that can kind of up the penalty count sometimes.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, yesterday, very first game, which was Cornwall, Manchester, we did see quite a few penalties, but not as much as what we're seeing this morning. And I think, again, you can put it on maybe to the time we're up and about this morning, 8 a.m. start. Or you can put it down to the fact that these guys know that there's a final waiting for them.
Yes.
At the end of
Best
the day.
to get the first game of the day done nice and early, so they can spend some time prepping for a final.
So this lovely timeout is brought to you by Roller Derby Diary. Organise your time in 2018, go with a Roller Derby Diary. You can find it on rollerderbydiary.com, and it'll help organise your time effectively.
So I can, you know, make sure I'm doing just as much announcing as I'm doing skating, you know, like.
Yeah, absolutely. If you fancy getting all up in your shiz,
yeah,
every week with the old skating and the old announcing, then Roller Derby Diary 2017 is for you. It runs right through to the end of January 2018.
Ooh.
So you can even pick up some January dates and they'll just slot it right in there for you.
Oh, lovely.
Absolutely.
We do like to forward plan these things.
Yes. It's not like I totally forgot where I was supposed to be.
No.
Several days ago. Or even I'm in Norfolk next week. Completely forgot I was in Norfolk next week. So that's nice. Going to Norwich. Ha ha, Lynn. Oh, I love me a bit of roller derby, Lynn. Get back in the pack, Lynn.
Unfortunately, my partridge impressions are nowhere near as good as yours. So
I think it's because Steve Coogan's from Manchester, and because he's a Northern lad, I'm a Northern lad, so I'm able to do a bit of Steve Coogan. I think that's the only reason why. And also because I really love Alan Partridge.
Yes.
I really do love me a bit of Alan. But, and I'm sure if Alan was here today, he'd love it. He'd love doing the old talky talk in the old box.
I think we should start a campaign to get Alan Partridge to blow the first whistle at next year's champs.
Well, there we go. That would be brilliant. And he gets it wrong, and he blames the whistle.
Yes, indeed.
or
Somebody gets Steve Coogan on the phone and be like, "You need to blow the first whistle."
We can ask him. I'm not personal friends with him. I wish I was, but I'm not. I wish.
Well, I know there's a certain SDRD player who looks a little bit like Steve Coogan, so we could ask.
Ballistic whistle?
Not ballistic, no. That wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Spectral?
Yeah, let's just go with that. We'll get them an Alan Partridge kind of costume and get them to blow the first whistle as Alan Partridge.
Ha ha! I block.
Yes.
So if you are joining us today and welcome and willkommen and all that jazz. Today is obviously the last day of British Champs. We've got the playoff finals coming up a little bit later. We have got, coming up after this game, we've got Teesside on track 1 versus Brothers Grimm. That's the men's playoff. So that's who decides coming in third and fourth. Of course, Teesside losing against Bristol yesterday. Brothers Grimm, surprisingly for some, losing against Suffolk, because Suffolk was actually kind of accidentally put into this. Because I can't, for the life of me, remember who the other team was supposed to be, but they dropped out. Suffolk came in last minute, and they've made a great account of themselves against Grimsby. And so Brothers Grimm playing that third and fourth playoff on track 1. Happening on track 2 very shortly, we've got Kent and Swansea. They were winners from yesterday. Swansea beating Dundee and Kent beating Norfolk, which again, a lot of people were surprised about because a lot of people had Norfolk down for the win.
I think, looking at some of the score, I was announcing the Swansea-Dundee game and getting to take a little look back, and I think at one point it was very close between Kent and Norfolk, and there were a lot of people kind of hoping that Norfolk would take the win there.
They had a lot of fans with him yesterday, and I know Philadelphia, speaking to her after the game, she was very upset, but Kent played a great game and came back into it. We are back in action on track 1. Rusty Bullet out and about, a lead jammer for Manchester. And we are looking at Manchester blockers short, just the one blocker for Manchester. Rusty Bullet doesn't need the assistance from Price, breaks out, picks up the full 5. So Manchester making this power jam right on in their favour as Rusty Bullet coming in and hitting up hard against Tallulah Trouble.
And there was a star stash there for Staple Gunner. Knowing that she couldn't get lead anyway, makes sense for her to take the star off and sneak her way through.
And came flying through as well. Again, with great speed, just bouncing through. And Rusty Bullet getting the call from Gazoo, shutting it down. So 10-point pass there from Rusty Bullet. 51 plays, 26, 25 points in favour of Manchester. And we have 13 minutes and about 40 seconds of this first period left to play. We've got Roxy Tuxing lining up for Manchester.
And up against Hell J for Wirral. And Hell J taking a very quick lead.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you can hear it on live feed, but Wirral have got some nice early supporters in, making a nice bit of racket this time in the morning.
We like to hear some cheers from the crowds.
Well, absolutely, it's what it's all about. And Wirral actually now have the pendulum swung back in their favour because Roxy Toxic and Minnie Minx, the jammer and pivot for Manchester, in the penalty box. So Roxy Toxic and Minnie Minx in the penalty box. So Wirral now on that power jam. Bouncing off Twitchy, bouncing onto the inside, coming past Lightning Hole and Holly Sheed, coming through, picking up the 5 points.
Rox Toxic being hit to the outside there and drawn back, giving their jammer Hell J a little bit more of an opportunity to get through.
basically for Ken.
Yeah, but they're watching this crowd.
Got a message from the Blissboro family from Oz for Bionic. Bionic Bessie has a message. I love you. It's so cold here. I'm going to skate hard for you all. That's from Bionic Bessie to the Billsboro family in Australia.
Aww.
So that's from Bionic Bessie. Thank you very much, message man.
Man with the message.
Man with the message. And referees with the messages of the penalties, because we're looking at Roxy Toxin, who's in the penalty box. We're now looking at Helge, who's also on the way to the penalty box. So, jammer in, jammer out.
Switcheroo.
Jammer all about. Ha ha.
We're going to try and make as much things rhyme today as possible.
I would enjoy that, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And Roxy Toxin coming through. Wirral looking for the cut track. It didn't get it. And Manchester will be starting the next jam on a power jam. But Wirral right back into the mix on a 13-point jam. So big jam for Wirral. 51 plays at 39.
And as we know, it can just be 1 or 2 jams to switch a score around in favour of a team who is down on points. Never write anyone off until that final whistle.
No, and I think we've seen this so many times today. The Norfolk Kent, again, case in point, the way Kent came back into that game was nothing short of fantastic. And it was a great advertisement for the sport. And we got Bambi out, jamming, picking up lead from Manchester. Oh!
That's a little apex hop there.
Great work from Bambi. And looks like Bambi will have another 30 seconds as the only jammer out and about as LJ picks up another cut track. So Manchester, even though Wirral was starting just to bring in their lead, have now just started pulling away again.
If you want to cheer for either of these teams later, it's not too late to come down to Newark Showground.
No, absolutely not. We're here all day, and it's still very early. So if you're just waking up and watching us and thinking, Newark looks lovely.
It is a beautiful, glorious day.
I think it's like New York, but just greener.
It is. I did have a friend of mine get confused when I said I was going to Newark for the weekend, and then her going, well, how are you going to get home? And me going, oh, a friend's driving me, and her looking very confused, and me going, Newark, the one that's near Nottingham, not the one that's near New York. I have been known to do a weekend away in the US, but not quite driving home.
No, there is no shortcuts on the old driving
No.
to America. Not to I know of, anyway.
I don't drive, and even if I did, I don't think there are aquatic cars that couldn't get me home.
Not yet, there isn't go-go.
Not yet.
But we are...
I think
look,
it's
Bambi.
Back block penalty.
Bambi looks like he picked up a back block. Ferrell Fair is already in the box. That's your pivot for Manchester. Rice is also on the way to the penalty box. So now, slight swing back towards Wirral with 8 minutes of this first period left play. 71 plays 39. So we're looking at a 32-point spread in favor of Manchester. So Wirral have a great chance here to get some points on the board. It's going to be a full 30 seconds as well. Bambi will be in the box. Of course, if Staplegunner doesn't fall foul herself with any penalties.
As long as Staplegunner can keep it clean and...
Oh, and Nippy Hedron with some great work coming out of turn one with a great hit and causing the cut track on Staplegunner. So Bambi is out of the penalty box. Already will go down a block. A decaf goes into the penalty box on a failure to reform. Oh, and both jammers out. Bambi picks up lead. And Bambi and Staplegunner just having a tit-or-tit.
A little short jam there.
Yeah. A little meeting of jammers on turn 3 and 4. Bambi shuts it down. And as nasty moves from the Netherlands always says to me, fresh horses, please.
Bless your cotton socks.
I don't get out often. I'm very rarely allowed out of Hull. Usually I have to ask for permission from the relevant authorities. I've crossed 3 counties this weekend, and all of them I've had to have written permission. So sometimes the flares go off when I enter counties, just to make them aware that I'm there. So.
Flare for the bear.
Flare for the There's the new hashtag. Hashtag flare for the bear. Brilliant stuff. You're so much more weight than I am, Gogo, this morning. You really are. And of course, Gogo's been doing a fantastic job here all weekend.
Oh, thank you very much. We have an amazing team of announcers.
We do.
Weekend.
We've been massively lucky, but the thing, I don't know if people are aware at home, but and this is just a little bit of fanboying on my part. I met Gogo a while ago at after party.
Yes.
Properly at after party. I'd met her briefly during the day at Louisa Ryder Cup, at the after party, and she was brilliant. Came in on the thing to do. What was it called? The mic thing.
Oh, the announcing.
Yeah, no, not the announcing.
The lip sync battle.
Yeah, lip sync battle. She was fantastic. Since then, Gogo's been out to Calgary and done the Men's World Cup, and has all been to Roller Continent since then. Ascendancy has been before us.
Yes, I intend to make 2017 the year of the International Derby announcer.
And why not indeed?
Exactly.
And why not? Britain has got some of the finest announcers. And we've also got some of the finest jammers, as we're seeing now, with Rusty Bullet breaking out lead again today for Manchester.
Rusty Bullet is having a good game.
Really good game. Absolutely brilliant game. And Manchester have been lucky. They do get assistant coaching from Alien Al, who Team England's Alien Al. So they do get jammer coaching from a great jammer. And Alien Al's done some great work with this team, as of all the other coaches for Manchester.
I know that, is it Lieutenant Dan?
Yes.
He is involved. I do believe his lovely wife is involved with Manchester. She is playing today.
She is, Selena Vile. But we're looking now. Rusty Bullet goes into the penalty box. So Wirral again get a power jam. 71 plays 39. 6 minutes left on the clock. And we're just seeing now if Tids can pick up any points and rein in at Manchester's goal. 5 on the door for Tids. Manchester lose Price to a penalty. So Wirral blockers up and jammer up. Fell Fairy and Pinky Fingers looking to slow down Tids.
Kind of surprised we weren't seeing any offense in that first pass through the pack, knowing that the opposing jammer had gone into the penalty box. You know, you've got a little bit of time to provide offense for your jammer, but there are some jammers who are more than capable of pushing their way or hitting their way through a wall on a power jam situation.
Absolutely, and I think we're just seeing now, just at the end of that, an 8-5 pass, 47, now plays 76. You're absolutely right. Wirral had a really good chance to break out some offense and didn't take it. And actually now has worked against Wirral, because now with Manchester with the power jam and now a complete change of jammer as well. So we've got Lightning Holt lining up, jamming for the first time today. Lightning Holt didn't jam yesterday. And, well, there you go. Breaks out within 2 seconds of the jam starting. Picks up your lead. Only 2 blockers on track for Wirral. Manchester with a full complement.
I think we're seeing a lot more of teams nowadays having sort of primary and secondary jammers, having people who wear the pivot, but also, you know, keeping some jammers in the back pocket for a later point. And it's, you know, it's been very effective for some teams. I mean, looking at some of the top teams in the UK, what's the name of that team? London roller girl.
I've heard of them. I've heard of them.
They have a lot of players who are, I guess, reasonably good at jamming as well as blocking. So, you know.
Yeah, we're seeing it more and more, and as you say, you do see that it isn't just I'm a blocker and that's it. You know, there is the come pivot, come jammer setup. And we're seeing now with Lightning Holt, who's now out of the penalty box, looking to break out the pack. Tids coming up against Mini Minx. Tids takes a long look at Mini Minx as coming out of turn 4.
Well, Mini Minx has been a formidable blocker, not during just this game, but previous game this weekend as well.
Great work from Tids, able to just get the apex jump and break through the Manchester wall. Manchester now down to just the 3 blockers. Lightning Holt being held up by Tallulah Trouble and Decaf.
Lightning Holt showing lovely footwork there to get through.
Brilliant work from Lightning Holt just at the end, knowing the seconds are running down. Takes the last gas sprint to break through on the outside. 5-4 pass in favor of MRD. 81 plays 51. Now a 30-point spread. Biggest point spread we've had so far in this first period.
But still not insurmountable in any way, shape or form. If we see more jammer penalty troubles from either team, that could go either way.
And both teams have fallen foul of this a few times with the jammer penalties. We're now looking at Wrecking Ball and Roxy Toxin out and about for Wirral and Manchester. And looks like Roxy Toxin breaks out just in front of Wrecking Ball.
The Wrecking Ball is chasing her down right now, hoping to force her to call it off.
And there's white and black top melee as Roxy Toxin is able to pick up 2 points.
Very happy with those 2 points as well.
And I think it's like you say, Goga, there's no insurmountable lead right now. And Manchester realise this, and Manchester know they have to try and keep building on this point differential, because they know Wirral a very dangerous team and come right back into this with a couple of power jams. So any points at this point, if we're running down the clock on period 1, is very important for both teams.
Yeah, just being able to chip away and just, it doesn't have to be big jams, even just a couple of points getting slightly further and further. You find yourself 5 jams in and with a bigger lead than you started with 5 jams before. It is important to get as many points as possible, but if you know that the other team could score as well, just picking up 2 is a good idea.
Absolutely, and I think what we're looking at right now is Bambi's just broke out lead, now going around looking for points. LJ is also out the pack. Bambi's gets taken down. Great work from Wirral.
Very loud cheer there from the crowd for that hit.
LJ picks up the 1 point. Bambi picks up 4, so 3 points in favour of Manchester. This could be the end of the first period. 87 plays 52. 35 point spread in favour of Manchester.
I think that's a familiar pairing of Tids and Rusty Bullet. But all of them going, well, there's not many seconds left on the clock. Can we have a little break?
And they do. We are bouncing into the half-time period. So we shall be back shortly.
Yes.
I'm Roller Oliver.
I'm Go-Go Boots.
I wish to see you soon. Oh. And we are back here live onto track 1, game 1 in Sunday playoffs. Winners of today bounced their way into the final, which we played at 2 o'clock later today. I am Roller Oliver. Welcome back. It's nice and early. We hope you're enjoying it at home. A big shout out to my I hope you are doing your marking. and not just listening to the excellent announcing from me and Gogo.
Oh, you sweetheart. He could have been saying anything there. I was not sat down with my microphone.
So we're looking at 87 playing 52. We've still got another 30 minutes left. Manchester have been coming out the stronger, but we're still right in this 35-point spread. How do you see this next 30 minutes going, Gogo?
I was talking to some people outside, and we're obviously saying that both teams have got a very strong contingency of blockers. But it was saying that Manchester's blockers tend to be quite dukey, but the floor is maybe a little bit against them today. They're still managing to really lock down the jammers, and I think as long as we don't see too many jammer penalties in the second half, you know, I think it's going to be fairly evenly matched. But obviously Manchester with the lead at the moment, we'll see if they can maintain that lead.
No.
And as you know, if they've got their blockers locking down and making sure that not too many blocker penalties either, I think Manchester might possibly take the win. But you know, with only a few points really, or you know, 1 or 2 power jams in favour of Wirral, and they could squeak past.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one thing we have seen today. We've seen like Staple Gunner and Rusty Bullet, who are out on track, about ready to get this second period underway. There has been a lot of jamming penalties, and we don't know how much it'll swing towards either team in the next 30 minutes. But what we can say is that both these teams, the next 30 minutes, are going to give everything.
Absolutely.
And we're seeing that right now. Staple Gunners looking at the inside, but gets a big hit off from Feral Fairy. Booty went for the all the way back, but Staple Gunner was able to come out in front. And there's your lead jam. Rusty Bullet breaking out a lead jammer. And now he's sat on a power jam.
As I said, jammer penalties can have a very, very big effect on the game. And Rusty Bullet is not a jammer that you want to be giving a power jam to. She has been doing some phenomenal work today.
Absolutely critical work. Really coming into it today, really showing some great work, great movement. And again, just coming up against the far wall of Wirral. Now getting offense work from Feral Fairy. Now booty treatment goes in, trying to break the wall up, and does so effectively. Great work from booty treatment, just breaks up that bracing wall. And Rusty Bullet was able to come up against Decaf one-on-one and able to slink past, picking up another 5-point pass.
Yes, I was told by Sparks Mayfly that they need to give him a shout out this morning. He's doing some beautiful whistle work and, you know, displaying of the points with his hands, with a beautiful flair.
Absolutely.
That only a you know, seasoned referee can really convey.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he's been great all weekend as well, just as just about every other referee here. But Sparks McFly has been fantastic, and he's getting a moment just to catch his breath as Rusty Bullet is in the box on, I believe, a skating out of bounds penalty. So Rusty Bullet in the box, and we're looking at the end of that jam, 2 points more picked up by Rusty Bullet, 3 points being picked up by Staple Gunner. 99 playing 60, 39 points in it, 1 point off the century mark. We've only played 2.5 minutes here on track 1 here at the Newark Showground.
I was also having a conversation outside about some of Manchester's jammers. I do believe that they started on their B team, and having lost some of their season jammers, I think 2-2 Rainy City, who are playing at WFTDA champs this weekend.
Oh.
You know, it shows their level of training, where some of those B team jammers are coming up and showing some incredible skills. It's always very important to invest in your B team and your rookies, because you never know when either somebody might be taken out by injury, whether that's an actual injury or a 9-month injury.
No, absolutely.
And you know, or there are times when people move or retire, so it's always really important. And it's obviously Manchester are showing how good their training is for their B team to be able to now field jammers who were originally B team into the A team and holding their own fantastically in this game.
Oh God, absolutely. You know, couldn't put it better myself. It really does show, you know, and as you say, invest in your B team because you do get great results like the Rusty Bullet, like Roxy Toxin, like Nippy Hedron, who's pivoted for Manchester right now, looking to control Wrecking Ball of Wirral.
Wrecking Ball is through, taking a very big hit there at the end, but stays on her feet.
And Rusty Bullet out the penalty box and out of the Wirral wall, going around looking for points. Wrecking Ball has got a few seconds here to try and dance through the white wall of Manchester. But Rusty Bullet breaks out just in front, picking up the 4 points. Great work from Minnie Minx, just held. Wrecking Ball just had a little few seconds longer, but 4 plays 4. Great work from Rusty Bullet, coming out the penalty box. Chasing down the points, so a 4-4 game. And 103 plays 64. Manchester break the century. Wirral still hot on the skates of Manchester. 39-point spread.
That's some good mathing there, right there. Also had the lovely May from Manchester who benches and lineups the gentlemen's team, saying that we've been doing some lovely announcing. So we give a little shout out to May.
Yeah,
this morning,
absolutely.
up early.
Doing a marking.
I was about to say, as a teacher, she was probably used to the early mornings.
She might be used to them, but she doesn't like them.
Does anyone like an early morning?
Yes, me.
Really?
You ask my partner how annoying I am in the morning.
I'm a nighttime person. I've had insomnia on and off since I was 14, so yeah, I'm very much used to a late night rather than an early morning.
I'm very much the morning kind of guy, and right now we are seeing a morning derby with Feral Fairy receiving a star pass. So Feral Fairy for the first time today receiving the star pass from a Roxy Toxin. But Hell J is out of the penalty box and now going around looking for points, and she will have a great chance to rack up some points because there is no lead jammer. Feral Fairy getting knocked off track. Now just trying to work through the blockers of Wirral. Pinky Fingers goes in for the offense. Feral Fairy yet again spinning off the hips. And great work from Hell J, who took a big leap, got knocked down, but was able to spin out.
She got knocked down, but she got up again.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you're never going to keep her down.
Chumbawamba. 1998 was a great year for us all. Text us in, tweet us, tell us about your favorite moments of 1998. But in the meantime, Feral Fairy picking up a good track penalty, so
Hell J is going to be on a power jam.
And Wirral with a great chance to rein in that Manchester point differential because Pinky Fingers is also off to the penalty box, so they lose Roxy Toxy, Pinky Fingers, and Feral Fairy to the penalty box. Feral Fairy are a jammer. Selena Vile and Price out and about on track, shuts down Hell J just at the end. And Wirral, 13-point jam, 77 plays 106. 29 points in it, I think.
Yep.
Yay!
I think. Maybe. I haven't got my calculator
No, it
on
is.
me.
It is. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. Yay.
Somebody can always tweet and tell us if we're wrong. We
Tell
won't be able to read it though.
What's your favorite maths equation? Let us know. So we've got 7-6-4 up jamming next. That is Tids. And Tids is out and about lead within, I'd say about 8 seconds.
seconds maybe?
Yeah. Tallulah Trouble on the way to the penalty box. A pivot for Wirral. Nippy Hedron and Tids still got some work to do, but Tids picking up a cut track penalty. So Power Jam swings back into Manchester's favor, and there is your jammer breaking out. That is Feral Fairy for Manchester.
And she is not lead.
No, not at all.
So this will be a full 2-minute jam.
Absolutely, just like it was before. Feral Fairy giving the signal to the Manchester blockers. Still trying to break through. Big hit from Wirral, taking off Feral Fairy. Nippy Hedron going for the shutdown, but Feral Fairy will have to go all the way back.
And that was Lulu Doom and Beef providing that nice little recycle to the back there.
It really was. It was, again, but this is it. Wirral are not letting go of Manchester. They are keeping them in. They are keeping them in within this score. And the longer this goes on, and if Wirral can keep chipping away at Manchester's score, as you said before, Gogo, anything is possible. We're not even into the last 20 minutes yet. And Tits is out the penalty box and picking up points for Wirral.
Now, Tids has been doing some brilliant jamming today. And as I said, if we can keep a hold of the penalties for both the blockers and the jammers. And we see there is 20 points in this now at present.
And that's it, and Wirral have really come back into it. Feral Fairy taking a bit of time, but coming through, picks up the 4 points at the end of that pass. So we are back into, it's still a 20-point game. We are still sat on 20 points with 21 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. So this is very, very close.
I get the feeling we might possibly see a team timeout at some point, you know, to get everyone cool, calm and composed. And as I say that, Manchester deciding to take a team timeout there.
Great thinking forward there, Gogo. Great thinking forward.
Definitely.
Reading the mind of the Marks and Spencer fan, that is Gazoo. And just a big shout out to some of our sponsors, Jamline sponsor, Spank Alley, armbands, helmet covers, and cool stuff. You'll find it all at spankalley.com. And Pivot Star, they do have their banner in Newark today, but you check out Pivot Star, you get yourself onto that website and check it out.
I'm very much a big fan of Pivot Star. Very comfortable clothing, very, very good for the skating things. I do like to dress up quite nicely when I announce.
You do.
But, you know, when I skate, I definitely like something that's comfortable. And like you were saying with Spank Alley, armbands. You know, we don't, numbers, having to write them on your arms, having to go into work on a Monday and you've still got pen on your arms. I mean, I'm enough of a crazy person at work without people thinking that I just draw on myself with pens.
Numbers again, numbers again, Emma, really?
Yes, exactly.
So, end of the Manchester timeout. 110 plays 90, 21 minutes, 27 seconds left on the clock. Wrecking Ball and Bambi out and about for Wirral and Manchester.
And as I've said before, those blockers are really, really locking down on the jammers. But we have a lead jam for Wirral. That is Wrecking Ball.
And Manchester losing Price to the penalty box. But Wirral losing their pivot pretty much at the same time. Bambi's still got some work to do, trying to break through the free wall of Wirral. Great work by Wirral containing Bambi for as long as they have. Big hit at the end from Lovelock, but Bambi breaks out.
And some beautiful offense. Getting Wrecking Ball through there. They seem very, very happy with that.
They really do. And we're now into a 16-point game with 20 minutes left to play. Do you know, I just had a massive surge of excitement because it's not a 16-point game. Don't know why, I just did.
To go from a 30, 40-point game to 16 points in just a few jams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is, I don't know, we're looking at it right now, and Manchester, they've still got the lead, but Wirral are chipping away at it, and Manchester will be looking over their shoulder and knowing that Wirral are coming stronger into this last 20 minutes.
They've obviously had a very good team talk in that 15-minute break in between.
But we are seeing the pendulum just swing towards Manchester. Rusty Bullet picking up lead jammer. And Hell-J still being kept by the white wall of Manchester.
They're keeping her feet moving and pushing them out of play.
Oh, great work from LJ. Last-ditch hit from Lightning Holt. Doesn't pay off. LJ spins out of the pack and starts the scoring run.
And up next, Jam, we have Roxy Toxin and Tids. Again, two jammers that we've seen a lot of today in this game.
We've seen Tids racking up some big points for Wirral, getting them back into this game. We're now looking at 119 plays at 94. That is 25 points in favor of Manchester. Roxy Toxin bouncing out, picking up lead jammer for Manchester. Tids still being kept in, but now is just out on front, just coming up against Pinky Fingers, breaks out, but gets clipped off and gets taken back to turn one.
Decaf doing a beautiful job of holding Roxy Toxin and recycling her back there.
Roxy Toxin still trying to push up hard. Wirral goes for a big shutdown. Pinky Fingers on the way to the penalty box. And seeing all the action coming out of turn two as Tids breaks out of the white wall, as does Roxy Toxin. Roxy Toxin picks up the 5-point pass. And Tids breaks out in time, picks up 4 points. And great work from Tids. Did not let that jam go. And a great jump at the end. I don't think Manchester were expecting the jump.
No, they definitely didn't seem to be expecting that jump. And I think I remember a coach once saying to me, you keep going until that fourth whistle has finished blowing. You just keep blocking, you keep jamming, don't give up, because you can still get a point or two.
And the jam didn't start. Wrecking Ball thought it had. Bambi took a cursory glance and looked over to find out what was going on. Looks like we're going to reset, but there is an official timeout. So bearing in mind, coming up after this, here on track one, we've got Teesside Skate Invaders versus Brothers Grimm of Grimsby. And you're going to hear Mimey and Scary Poppins on the live feed. And of course, yourself and Louise DeCaster are going to be on house.
Yes, we are.
So from live feed to house feed. Go, I can't rhyme these last bits. Go, no, I can't. Goes to feed? Oh, I don't know.
It's okay.
It's a long day.
You've got some more time to work on something.
I
You've
know.
still got 17 minutes left for you to come up with something.
And what if I don't?
If you don't, then it's fine. They'll have forgotten about this by the end of the game. Is there anyone actually up watching this game at this time in the morning?
Roller who? is the sentence I dread to hear. He was. We've actually, to the left of us, being sat with us all weekend up to now, we have our lovely tweeter, Wreck and Fall. I've actually seen Wreck and Fall play Tier 2 men's this season, and Wreck and Fall jammed a few times as well, if I'm right in thinking. He's just done the thumbs up because he is an A1 jammer for Quads of War. Big shout out.
Jammer.
Shola Jammer is a name that has not been used yet. So we are back into the mix, and after the discussion, it seems that we have a penalty assessed, and Tids is now in the penalty box. Bambi sat on a power jam from Manchester. 124 plays 94. That's a 30-point game in favor of Manchester. And they could be looking to try and increase his point differential, because Wirral were coming back hard and fast until a couple of jams ago, and Manchester just started just to peel away ever so slightly.
As I said earlier, sometimes just a few minutes rest and talking on the bench can change people's mentality, can get people back into that game zone, and it's obviously worked in Manchester's favour, having a power jam as well as some amazing blockers.
And I think that, well, that's what you're seeing here. Both Wirral and Manchester, some fantastic blocking being going on, and we're still looking at 16 minutes left to play, and they have been hard at it now for 45 minutes, and it's just been non-stop with some great bracing action from Manchester. Wirral doing some great offense and shutdown. Nippy Hedren on the way to the penalty box for Manchester, and Tids is out and looking for points.
And Bambi taking the opportunity to call that off, as she saw Tids approaching the back of the pack.
Looks like this time out here, just for some track maintenance, our volunteers and NSOs this weekend have all been great work and fantastic. Just making sure this whole weekend has been on time and expertly run. Big shout out to British champions. Big shout out to British champions.
We're all British champions.
We're all champions this weekend. I don't get a medal though, so I'm not bitter about that.
I'm sure we can fashion you a medal.
I would like a medal.
We can make some out of track tape and.
Oh, I'd love a medal. I'd love it if it just said, "We love you, roll a polar bear," and underneath it had the DNA of my enemies.
The blood of your enemies.
Yes, particularly Wrecking Fall. I love him really. He's just to the left of me on Twitter. Why don't you tweet him in and say hello, Wrecking Fall? He's on the tweet. None of this texting malarkey. It's not 1998.
We don't have Nokias anymore. Well, not all of us.
I do. My work phone's a Nokia. Big shout out to my work. Anyway, please don't sack me. So, we're out and about. And next jam, we are looking at Hell J picking up the lead jammer for Wirral. Rusty Bullet still got some work to do. Comes through, gets taken down, and a cut track. So Wirral right back into the mix on a power jam with just two blockers of Manchester on track.
And we see skipping around the hips of Feral Fairy. That was Hell J there. Some lovely offense from her team. Like I was saying earlier, if you're in a power jam situation and you know that jammer isn't standing, give your jammer a little bit of help. Give them the opportunity to have a little bit of an easier pass through those packs.
There's nothing worse than seeing a jammer completely out of luck and just trying to break through and seeing no offense coming their way. But we've seen plenty of offense in this game so far. And yet again, a great penalty kill now by Manchester. Coming into turn 3. They've pretty much shut down Hell J. Big hit coming in on Feral Fairy. But it looks like the penalty has been given to Danny Stoneborn. So Danny Stoneborn in the penalty box for a direction. Rusty Bullet out of the penalty box and out of the track looking for points. Big hit by Booty Treatment. And no points picked up by Rusty Bullet. Out of bounds block picked up by Booty Treatment at the end, and another 5 points picked up by Wirral on that pass.
And Wirral have now hit the 100 mark.
So 131 plays 103.
This is still a very tight game, and with only 13.5 minutes left to go.
13.5 minutes, 28-point differential in favor of Manchester. Lightning Holt on the jam line for Manchester.
And she was very effective in the first jam that she was up, obviously giving some of the other Manchester jammers a little bit of a rest.
I think they will be needing it because Wirral had not made this easy. It's a lot of trouble with a big hit, taking Lightning Holt all the way back. A wrecking ball now being recycled by Witchy. Oh, big hit from Nippy Hedren.
And Is that a forearms penalty being assessed? Oh, it's being assessed to the jammer, I do believe. So we will have a power jam in favour of Manchester.
And Lightning Holt still got to break out. Tallulah Trouble doing a great shutdown. And Lula Doom, last of form. And as you've said before, Gogo, we've pretty much gone the full track before any lead has been picked up. And Lightning Holt is out and about and looking for points.
I think Wirral is doing a fantastic job of locking her down as much as possible. And hopefully, I think they're probably going to try and attempt a bit of a penalty kill there.
So Lightning Holt comes through. 5 in the sky for Lightning Holt.
I think it's very much useful that the penalties got reduced to 30 seconds rather than a full minute, because we can see only 5 points picked up on that power jam.
Yeah, when it used to be a minute, it was a long time. The only time it worked in any kind of favour was when I was playing and we played SCID and we took Ballistic off and he got a cut and we had a minute to try and pick up some points against SCID. We picked up 10.
Good.
We picked up 10, it was good. That was the semi-final 2013 European Championships.
Ah.
We got beat, obviously, it was SDRD.
But they do get beaten.
Yes, yeah.
They do get beaten. There have been games in the UK where they have been beaten, and have been obviously beaten in the US before.
Yeah, and they get another chance to get out there as well. They are going out there this year.
Yep, they are going out there this year. I think it might be into, in the rankings, they might be 5th in the world.
I'm just giving a little bit of a wave to the old King Crazy there. King Crazy, one of our live feed announcers. You're going to be hearing his superb voice a little bit later. He's going to be on the live feed. Game 12. Game 12 is going to be London Rock and Rollers against Hot Wheel. And he's going to be with another great announcer from this week, and that's Trent over Bristol. So Trent will be with Marek on the live feed a little bit later. But yeah, we were saying SDRD, yeah, they have gone across America. They have been beaten a few times, but God, the game last year against New York Shock Exchange was a beautiful game, and they were so close. We've been picking up the point. We are looking at an official review.
We're being told that's a query about a charging penalty.
And we was told by that by another one of our announcers for this week, and that is Mimey. And Mimey used to ref and was one of the high caliber refs in Europe and possibly the world. And now has turned herself to the dark side of announcing. Let's put away the whistle and picks up the mic. And has joined us here at British Champs as an announcer. And like yourself, Gogo, relatively new, but absolutely bang on form.
I think if you've been involved in the sport in another capacity, announcing can certainly add to your knowledge, and you can use previous knowledge to help inform your announcing. And obviously Mimey, having been a fantastic referee, fantastic official, that certainly helped her be as brilliant an announcer as she is.
Absolutely. And I think, again, it's like you say, when you got the experience like yourself with you playing, you're able to give that contrast out on the track. And it's like with the skaters out there right now, and with Wirral looking at a 35, and they'll be looking at this knowing they can get back into it. And with the likes of Tids that have been jamming and Wrecking Ball, they've really brought themselves into it. Hell J as well. And they've seen some great work. And it's just that Manchester have just been that little bit more fortunate, I think, with the jammer penalties.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the big selling difference so far.
As I was saying before, jammer penalties can make or break a game sometimes.
And as you said in the past, when it was a minute, it really was. It really could be that big thing.
You could have people racking up 30, 40 points in a power jam. If you've got a couple of blockers also in the box, an easier pass through for that jammer. We've certainly seen a lot of evolution in the game. We've certainly seen a lot of evolution in the game in the past Well, I mean, I've been involved for 6 years now, and I've been announcing for nearly 1 year. Nearly my 1 year anniversary with announcing.
When is it? When is your 1 year anniversary?
I do believe it's the 13th.
The 13th of this month.
Yes.
Is going to be Go. So if you're friends with Go-Go Boots, like I'm sure many of you are,
Yes.
pop onto her old Facebooky wall and go, happy 1 year on the old talkie talk.
Talkie talk.
On the old talkie.
I'm still waiting for somebody to turn around and go, why are we giving her a microphone?
Oh,
Let's
I've been
take that
waiting
away.
for years. I've been waiting to figure out that. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Imposter syndrome.
Is that Moody git who used to be on the track? Get that mic off him now!
Remove the mic from one's hand and leave the area.
He just keeps saying parkour. It's pointless.
I still don't know what that means. You'll explain it to me, no doubt.
I invented free running.
Okay.
I invented parkour, and I run master classes. And to anybody at home is aware that I am parkour.
Okay.
And mech and all the other hashtags I use. And at the end of that, the charging penalty that was queried means that there will be no penalty given. Wirral lose their official review. We're back into the action. Roxy Toxing and Tids on the jam line.
And I do believe we have a full contingency of blockers out there as well. So this will be jammers battling against 4 blockers each. And Tids takes the lead.
And Tids looks like we are sat on a power jam in favor of Wirral. So Roxy Toxin picks up the cut on the way to the penalty box. And Tids is out of the pack and picking up the 5 points. Could be a big jam for Wirral as we're coming up close to the 10-minute mark.
And with only 30 points in this, a strong power jam could really be flipping the coin in their favor. And as we say that, there is a penalty assessed to Tids. So she will lose her lead jammer position, and that will release the other jammer from the penalty box.
And Roxy Toxing is back out of the penalty box and on track, coming up against 2 blockers of Wirral. And yet again, Pinky Fingers with some big offense, trying to break up that black wall of Wirral. Staple Gunner gets the forearm, so we're just looking at 2 Wirral blockers on track. No pivot, no jammer.
I also don't think we've had any foul outs yet, that we have seen quite a few penalties assessed to a variety of blockers and jammers. But I'm looking at the penalty board, but my eyesight is terrible, so I can't really tell if anyone is close.
There is, from what I can see, we are looking at a few players that are close to fouling out, that have picked up quite a fair few penalties. As you said, Gogo, there is no foul outs as yet, but some are very close. I can't really see the numbers who is close, but if you're watching at home, you'd have seen a fair few penalties being dished out. You'd have seen a fair few people in the box. A lot more than what we saw yesterday. And there will be a lot more, I assume, from today. Don't forget, all these teams that are playing here today played yesterday, so there will be a tightness factor in it. But not really tight is Bambi right now, of jamming for Manchester, and is out and about, and your lead jammer.
Bambi is galloping around the track.
Whee! Chalk it up.
Yep. I can always be relied on for a pun or 2.
And she was coming up against LJ. 4 points picked up by Bambi. Fantastic. It's great. It's great work, puns. Look at great work. Always gets a laugh. Always gets a laugh.
Well, my team, Croydon Roller Derby, we do have a lot of punsters in the mix. A lot of the team, one in particular, Lady P, my Roller Derby wife, Pitbull, both throwing the puns around on Facebook as much as possible. Sometimes cheese-based puns, which can be
I enjoy a cheese-based pun. I enjoy a cheese. Tweet us in with your cheese-based puns at British Champs. Here, we're here all day. Give us your cheese-based puns. So, Out and about on track, we are looking at Rusty Bullet, lead jammer, and now sat on a power jam as Wrecking Ball picks up a cut track. So again, Manchester looking at the power jam with just 7 minutes of this game left to play. This really could be a defining jam for Manchester and just could pull apart just enough to make sure they've got a healthy lead over Wirral.
Yeah, with 7.5 minutes left in this game, this could be the point where we see Manchester pull ahead just that little bit further.
And they've only got the two blockers of Wirral trying to slow down Rusty Bullet, but as we've seen all day, Rusty Bullet has been phenomenal for Manchester, and has really been a great point scorer this morning. And yes, it is morning still. We are looking at 9:21 on the clock. It's 9:21. It's still early.
I'm normally at this time on a weekday sat at my desk eating breakfast and looking and going, why are some of my head office asking me such silly questions?
At this time in the morning.
Yeah.
And now you're lumbered with me at this time in the morning.
Oh, trust me, some of the silly questions that you and I discuss are much more fun than the silly questions that I and our head office discuss. I'm not going to say where I work or anything like that.
No, I always keep that secret. But right now we are looking at Rusty Bullet picking up the biggest jam of the day so far. That's a 24-point jam. 174 plays 113. That's one big point differential now in favor of Manchester. That might just be enough to push them towards the final. That's correct, the final. That'll be played on this track later today. And Roxy Toxin bounces out inside in front of Tits and is your lead jammer. Big smile on Roxy Toxin's face, as Roxy knows that they are inching ever closer to that big game later on today.
Indeed, her smile is lighting up the room like the sunshine streaming through the windows on this beautiful sunny day at Newark Showground.
It is a lovely day. It's a lovely day.
Lovely day.
It's a lovely day. It really is a lovely day. What better way to spend it?
It's such a perfect day. I'm glad I've spent it with you.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that could be a lyric in a song.
That could be a lyric in a song. Oh, we should write a song right now.
We can call it Such a Perfect Day.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lou who?
Lou who, you who.
Lou who, you who. What? Great skater name. Lou who, you who. Tell us your great Lou who skater-based names. Sweet as in it. British champs. So, we've got a timeout called here. Looks like it is an official timeout.
So the officials doing official things.
It looks that way.
I don't want to speculate, but it could possibly be somebody receiving their 7th penalty.
It could possibly be. Although we're not too sure. It looks because there has been no... Oh, yeah, it looks that way. It looks like 6-1-2 for Wirral. Bidzager.
With only 5 minutes left in the game, it's always sad to have foul outs. However, it's always better for it to be the last 5 minutes rather than the first 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Oh, you know, it's a foul out. Penalties do happen. That's why we've got penalties in this game, and they do happen. So we're back into the mix. We've got all the fours on the jam line. That is Bambi coming up against number 4, which is Helge.
And Helge is doing some lovely blocking against Bambi, dropping Bambi off to her blockers and aiding them there. However, Bambi is out and lead, showing some beautiful form on track.
Absolutely, and picking up the speed as well. Really getting around, looking for them points, looking to really just nail this victory in the final few minutes for Manchester. Coming around, picking up the 5 points. Helge still being kept in by Witchy and Nippy Hedron of Manchester.
I do believe both of these teams will be playing a second game today.
They will
As we
indeed.
have a consolation game. I do believe, is that at 12 o'clock
Yep,
on this track?
12 o'clock on this track. You're possibly, you're going to be looking at Wirral, and possibly you're going to be looking at Manchester in the final. And we're looking at Helge has just gone to penalty box. Oh, and we've just seen skating excellence from Bambi, coming through, staying in bounds, getting on the 1 foot. Great work from Bambi. Now getting clipped off by Lovelock.
That is certainly a moment to be proud of.
And lucky, we'll all be able to watch it back again because the fantastic Derby Duck are here, streaming both tracks. And if you're watching from home, give Derby Duck a big shout out, because without Derby Duck, it would be Facebook Live. And we all see what kind of idiots end up on Facebook Live.
He's pointing at himself.
A little bit. Only a little bit.
Also, thankfully, we don't have any cameras looking at us right now.
No. It's always a luxury, because I took my shirt off earlier.
Yes.
And I've drawn on myself another shirt that swears on it.
It's very nice artistic skills you've got there.
Yeah. I'm an artistic kind of guy. So 4-1-4, Rusty Bullet out and about for Manchester. Looking to break out, coming up against a little trouble. There's your lead jammer, Rusty Bullet. Helge out the penalty box, coming up against Ferrell Ferry. Skips past the hips of Ferrell and starts the scoring run.
And is looking a little bit scrappy on track now. A lot of blockers, one-on-one blocking, and lots of random hits on opposing blockers.
It does. You can kind of sense. We've got a final couple of minutes left.
A superb hit there that Bambi has delivered to a blocker who is currently crawling off track.
Looks like the wind has been knocked out of the blocker. Rusty Bullet coming back around for the 5 points. We are looking at a lot of blockers have been taking some big punishment today. And luckily, the blocker that was down just off track is now back into the action.
I believe that is 0007. That is B. Thankfully, we do have medics, a lovely, lovely group of medics able to assist if there are any injuries today, though we hope that they just get to sit down and enjoy the game.
Yeah, we really are fortunate to get some fantastic medics here this week, and that we're always at hand, and not just for the skaters, for NSOs as well, and maybe the odd announcer that has an owie on the finger, or
yes,
or I cockled my ankle once in a Marks and Spencer's trying to get a suit.
Well, like I said, I've been working on my sewing skills, so I may have to, once I get really good, I can sew you a suit.
That'll be fantastic.
It can be made from the blood of your enemies.
Yeah, Wrecking Fall. Why don't you tweet in Wrecking Fall and tweet them in and say, hey, British champs, Wrecking Fall, I'm coming for you.
Or hey, British champs, Wrecking Fall, why are they being so mean?
Yeah.
So mean.
Yeah, stop being mean to Wrecking Fall. It was a late night. Wrecking Fall was out and about dancing into the nightclubs. You may have seen him. He was off the chandeliers, that kid, off the chandeliers. So Roxy Toxin hitting the inside, hitting the speed, breaking out, possibly the last jam of the day. And
it's currently just over 100-point lead now for Manchester. They really have pulled away. But both teams will be playing another game, so you get to see both of these teams being as awesome.
Absolutely, and I think what you're looking at now is just Helge out of the penalty box and starting the scoring run. Manchester have really come together, really come alive in this last 10-15 minutes. But looks like we've got the final whistle. And there it is. Manchester go into the final later on today. They will be coming up against either Kent or Swansea. Wirral go into the playoff, the third and fourth playoff, and that's to be confirmed. It will be Kent and Swansea. All the action is happening there over on track 2 right now. I don't know about you, Gogo, but that was one great semi-final to be a part of.
That was phenomenal. As we were saying, it was a very close start, and you know, Manchester really pulled through in those probably the last 10 minutes, really widening their gap and securing their lead.
Absolutely, and we'll be seeing them in the final later on today. We'll be seeing Wirral, and we'll be seeing you very soon. So it's me, Roller Polar Bear.
It's me, Go-Go Boots.
Ta-ta. Ha-ha.